Okay, so for this week's video journal, I was going to talk about mostly what we discussed on Monday's class, just because I thought it was the most interesting, in my opinion. First thing was how we talked about, the different modes that NGOs go about when it comes to their goals and how they do their best to achieve those goals. I thought it was interesting how there's different ways in which they try to go about trying to achieve their goal, whether it be like the juridical mode, when like how they just try to get as much solid research as possible but don't really focus on like the advertising and trying to gain popular interest. And then on the other end of the spectrum, which was activating mode, and how it's kind of vice versa, they don't have as much information while they try to do a really good job of getting people inspired to come out and help out in whatever way possible. I thought it was kind of strange, especially with the activating mode. I could see the other two and how they're kind of more factual based, and revelatory mode was kind of bearing witness and naming and shaming. That makes sense. But I thought for activating, I thought it was strange how you were saying how they only focus primarily on reaching an audience and they don't necessarily have solid information. And I feel like if you are trying to reach out to people and teach them a cause or whatever you're trying to express to them, you have to have some decent amount of information. Otherwise, people just won't just respond well to it. Like I understand the impact and the influence events, like I think you were saying, like dance parties or whatever, like stuff like that, trivial things like that raises awareness. But I feel like people still, it needs to be rooted within good facts. I mean, obviously know a lot more about it than I do, but I just thought it was kind of strange to think about. And then lastly was the NGOs, and how there's a lot of different NGOs in a certain area, but they don't all work together to achieve their goals. They're kind of um, more into doing the best for their own NGOs, which is kind of strange to think about because I always thought of NGOs as altruistic and putting the greater good above everything rather than trying to get as much notoriety and clout. But at first I was thinking it was kind of BS and there's no way that's true. But I guess if I was in that situation, I would want to. If I was in charge of an NGO, I would want my NGO to be the best it could be, so I could say, "Hey, look, this is what we did as my organization." But those are my two big things that I thought were interesting from this week's class.